Destruction in art and smashing up guitars. Pete Townshend, the guitarist of The Who, is really well known for being the first guy that really smashed his equipment up on stage. Quite an innovation and quite a spectacle to look at, and later Jimi Hendrix used to do it too and set fire to his guitars. Keith Moon, the drummer of The Who, famous wild man of rock and roll, once blew his drum kit up on a live TV appearance. I think I might be able to show that here. Anyway, this is about where did Pete Townshend get that idea from? Was it spontaneous, or did he get the idea from somewhere else? And I'm going to propose he got the idea from a guy called Gustav Metzger. And Gustav Metzger, I'm not sure if he was German, Austrian, I'm not sure where he came from, you can look it up. But in 1966, he was responsible for the Destruction in Art Symposium, which was held in London. Lots of artists took part in it, and Metzger was famous for like burning paintings with acid, that kind of thing. Now, obviously, Metzger was doing all this stuff before the London Destruction in Art Symposium in London in '66. So my question is to you all, anyone listening, when did Pete Townshend start smashing up his guitars? When did he first do that? What year was that? Was it before the Destruction in Art Symposium, or was it after? That's my question. But even if it was before, Pete Townshend was very well known for being a bit arty, and I think he knew about this. I think he attended the Destruction in Art Symposium, and I think he knew about this tendency, this movement, even before that. So I'm thinking that he was directly influenced by this art movement, shall we call it art tendency. And that's why he started smashing up his guitars. It was not a spontaneous thing. To give you an example of what these guys were like, when I was at art school, we were lucky enough to have a couple of, I don't know if they were lectures or really tutorials, or I don't know what we'd call them, seminars, I'm not sure, by a guy called John Latham. Was a famous British artist. He's dead now, bless him. He was a great old fellow when I knew him. And John told us once that he had got fired, I think it was from St Martin's School of Art, one of the big art schools in London, because he had encouraged his students to go to the library in the college, and they'd taken out a book each. And then what they'd done, when it was due for them to take the books back, they dissolved each book in acid, put it in a test tube, and took the books back dissolved in acid in a test tube. And for that he was fired. But it was a funny story. He also had some constructive stories as well. He once said that he was hired to, or he was asked by a sort of coal mining district. They had this big slag heap, old slag heap. The mine had closed, and they didn't know what to do with all this great big hill of slag that they had left. And he said, well, why don't you just turf it over and plant it with flowers and use it as a kind of like a really nice place for people to go on picnics and walk about on, and you don't have to remove it at all. That was a great idea. I don't know if it ever came up. But there's some examples of destruction in art. I think John got a bit more creative later on and not so destructive as the last example gives. But there you go, the Destruction in Art Symposium 1966 in London. Gustav Metzger may have been responsible for the big fashion in smashing up your equipment on stage. Okay, thanks for listening, thanks for watching. There'll be more art stuff coming. I'll see you about.